Hey guys, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angelisa and on this channel we talk about books. And today I thought it would be fun to talk about some of the books that I've read that I feel very strongly should be adapted into, whether it be a movie or a TV series or an animation series or a limited TV series, one of those. I feel like I need to see these books on a screen. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. Made myself a little pumpkin spice latte. We're gonna talk about it. But first, I want to say a quick thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Pair Eyewear. If you've watched one of my videos before, I've mentioned Pair Eyewear in the past. They had sent me these really cute eyeglasses. They're just like these clear frames, and I use them daily for reading, working on a computer, etc. So they have a blue light filter coating and my prescription in them to kind of like ease the pain that I have in my eyes when I'm trying to focus. And on top of that, they're really easy to customize because you can just add a top frame like this and change your look whenever you want. The order process is really simple. You just go onto paireyewear.com and you can browse their base frame styles. I used their virtual try-on to see which frame fit my face best because I wanted to see the different styles on my face since my face is kind of small. I ended up going with the Reese frames, and then after that you can browse all their top frames. They have top frames that are actually so much fun. They come out with like new collections monthly. They have hundreds of top frames you can choose from, including sun top frames, which I think I really want to get my hands on some of those because it's just easy to transfer your glasses from prescription eyeglasses to prescription sunglasses. Some of their collections include Marvel, Harry Potter, Charlie Brown. They have like a Halloween collection. Their Christmas collection is coming up. The packaging is also really cute. It comes with this little pouch that you can use to store your glasses as well as your top frames, and the packaging that actually came in was really small, sustainable, didn't use a lot of packaging, which I really love. And as a bonus, they have this program called A Pair for a Pair, where every pair of glasses that you buy provides one to a child in need. This was just so easy to do and so much more affordable than buying eyeglasses at an optometrist or a lot of like branded eyeglass stores that I've been to. And to make it more affordable for you guys, you can click the link in my description or use the discount code AngelisaReads15 for 15% off on your first pair of Pair Eyewear eyeglasses. Thank you again to Pair Eyewear for sponsoring today's video. Anyway guys, I really am feeling more of like the clear style today, so I'm gonna take off these top frames, but let's get into the video. Okay, so the first series or books that I want to talk about is actually the ACOTAR series. So I feel like there's been a huge debate about whether or not this series should be a film or a TV series or not. And look, this is my take on it. The plot of ACOTAR alone, where you have this girl who comes from literally nothing, she's poor, and she accidentally kills a wolf from the fairylands and gets brought over to that land to kind of like pay retribution for what she did. And from there goes on this huge adventure with like found family and betrayal and also confusing love and just so many different themes and a lot of character growth throughout the entire series that would just be so amazing to see on a screen. I feel like it either needs to be a really good animated series, or the people who made like Game of Thrones, even like Marvel, like just people who have like really good experience with CGI need to get on that if they're gonna do a live action type of thing. But yeah, ACOTAR, it just has such an interesting vibe, and like all the imagery that Sarah J. Maas has described in it, like seeing that on a screen and seeing the different scenes depicted with the amount of emotion and like intensity, I think would be so cool. I feel like they'd really have to pick like good actors and actresses so that it doesn't like cringe me out, and definitely a scriptwriter, because I think that if we went based off I feel like is also Throne of Glass. It has a similar vibe but a little bit different. It's a little bit of a darker theme. I think it'd be a really cool fantasy series. The plot in this as well is just like, I haven't read much of the series yet. I've only read the first like Assassin's Blade and Throne of Glass, and already I could imagine seeing those on the screen, and it would be so cool where you have this girl who she believes in people's rights so much, and she's been through hell and back and has like literally come out not okay, but like kind of like a boss. Like she takes everything in stride, and I feel like our generation needs to see more of that on a screen and more female lead characters in these big action kind of TV shows. So I feel like ACOTAR and Throne of Glass would be such cool ones to see on the screen. Even if it was like, a TV show? Yeah. I feel like ACOTAR could get away with being movies, kind of like how Twilight was, but I feel like Throne of Glass needs to be like a TV show. And I don't know if animated or live action, like I think it's the same thing as ACOTAR, where because the plot is so much fantasy and action, it would be really hard to depict that with live action unless you use a lot of CGI. So yeah, but both of the vibes of these series, like with the amount of fantasy and romance. Like moving on, we have Gallant. This definitely gives me very like haunting of Hill House vibes, and I don't know, when I read this book immediately after I finished it, I was like, this needs to be a limited series on Netflix. Like the way that they did Haunting of Hill House, like Mike Flanagan needs to pick this up. I just feel like it's such a cool concept, and all of the paranormal stuff that goes on, and just the house itself, and all of the scenes in it, and the letters and the paintings and all that stuff. Like I think it would just be so cool to see on the screen and see how they depict that kind of vibe on a screen. Honestly, I read it so long ago, but what is Gallant about? I literally can't even remember. Okay, yeah, so Gallant basically follows this girl who she receives a letter to come back home to the house Gallant, and when she gets there, none of her cousins or like family was expecting her to be there, and they're kind of like, what are you doing here, and saying that she shouldn't be there. But she's kind of like, she realizes that there's stuff that the house is kind of hiding, that the people of the house are hiding, so she really wants to find out what it is. And it kind of just brings her down this whole path where there's like a lot of paranormal stuff and like connections with her family and past, and generations of things come up, like generations of history, and honest to God, tea comes up about her family, and she has to learn a lot about herself and her family. But it's also this very like creepy, haunty, so I feel like it'd be so cool as a limited series like Haunting of Hill House. I don't know, it just gave me that vibe when I was reading it. On the same note, I feel like The Only One Left by Riley Sager also gives that vibe. It's about this older woman who I don't know if it was just the house itself or like the setting that gave me that vibe, but that same like Mike Flanagan type of feel where it needs to be a limited series, where it's about this older woman and she's telling the story of how she kind of like killed her whole family, or that's at least what the media believes, and she's telling it to her current nanny, kind of like through a typewriter because she can't communicate because she's had so many strokes. So she's literally like having her nanny type out with her this story, and her nanny, not her nanny, what am I saying, her nurse, her home health aide, I don't know why I'm calling her a nanny, but her home health aide helps her write this story and finds out all the stuff about what happened. And it's such a cool book to read, but also like very creepy. And yeah, I think that if someone really good picked it up and could depict it in the way that, I think her name is Lenora, that Lenora is like telling the story and how the reveals go, it would be such a cool series. And like on that note, I feel like any Riley Sager book would be cool. Like if you just look at the kind of like different books that he writes and all of the different like horror themes that there are, they would be good as a movie or a limited series depending on what it is and like how fleshed out the plot is. But yeah, just like the suspense, like those are some of my favorite types of series and TV shows. And honestly, after I read a book that's like that, I want to go and like watch a TV show, and I can never find one. So I feel like we need more books to be like inspiring these TV shows. Next we have The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. So this is about a girl who she had like shot her husband and then she never spoke again, and this psychiatrist, I think, or psychologist is trying to get her to like speak and talk about what happened and see if he can get it out of her. And it's really, really interesting, and I feel like it would be a really cool limited series, or even like a movie, where you kind of get to sit down in these like interviews with the psychologist and the main character, where he's trying to coax things out of her, but you also get like her point of view and his point of view and flashbacks and all that stuff. So I feel like that would be really, really cool depicted on a screen, and just to see like who could like play that character. I feel like Angelina Jolie would do really well in it, just because of like her role as like in Girl Interrupted, and she just seems like she has like, I don't know, who else would be good in it? Even the girl who plays like Love in You, and plays whatever her name is in Haunting of Hill House, like the youngest daughter. Yeah, that would be really, really cool for The Silent Patient. Another like mystery thriller that I've thought about is The Naturals. I feel like this would be so cool as a like Criminal Minds kind of YA TV series, and if they just like kept continuing it and had these like teenagers kind of solve murders, but also like have their personal lives intertwined. Like, it was so cool reading those books, and then when I would watch Criminal Minds, it literally felt like I was watching like an older version of Sloane and Dean and Michael. What's the main girl's name? Cassie. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I feel like that would be really cool, because it basically follows these like, oh, I forgot about Leah too. I think there's 5 of them, and they're basically like teenagers who they've gone through a lot in their life and seen a lot of crazy things, and it's given them this like, it's kind of honed this special ability to detect lies, or like read people's emotions, or like get in the mind of a serial killer and be able to profile. So yeah, it's just really cool. The whole series is in the point of view of Cassie as they're solving a bunch of like mysteries that also get really intertwined with like their own lives. So yeah, it was so much fun to follow, and I wish that the books just kept on going, and it'd be so cool to have something like that as like a limited series or a TV show or something. The next one that I'm thinking about is The Song of Achilles. The entire aesthetic of this book and like the emotions, like I feel like the entire theater would be sobbing if this was on the big screen as a movie. Like, it has so much potential to be an amazing and impactful movie, and I just feel like because so many people like don't read books, or like they think that reading books is like nerdy or whatever, that the messages that are in like these kind of books, they could be translated to screen, and a lot more people would get the message, and we become like a little bit more accepting of like today. I don't even know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but I don't want to get like too political and like go into it, but A, the story is beautiful. It would be a beautiful, beautiful movie. I would sob the entire time. And B, just like the aesthetic and the entire like Greek kind of Roman vibe on a screen for me is just so beautiful, and I would love to see how it was done. If you don't know, The Song of Achilles is following Achilles and his, we're gonna say friend, Patroclus, if that's how you say his name, and they, oh my god, I can't even remember the whole story because it was just, I read it so fast and I was just so like involved in the, like, I don't want to, it's the story of Achilles basically, and if you don't know what that is, like, you can look up the myth because I really don't want to botch it, but it's just a retelling, like a contemporary retelling, but it's still based in like back then. Next we have Carrie Soto is back, and okay, most of the book girlies, it's okay if you haven't, but most of the book girlies have watched probably Daisy Jones and the Six, and I loved it. I loved how it was depicted. I loved how much of the book was put into the show, and especially with all the music. And I feel like Carrie Soto's Back would be a really good movie, or a very like maybe 6-episode limited series, not because of music, whatever, but just because of like the scenery, the vibes, and like, but most of all the message and the empowerment. And again, we need more like female lead where she is just fighting tooth and nail for what she wants, and she doesn't care how anybody else feels about it. And yeah, so I loved that book. I loved reading it. I loved Carrie. her character was amazing, and all of her scenes with her dad made my heart so warm. And so I feel like that would be really good as a movie, or just like a little limited series, kind of just like following Carrie as she tries to win back her title, or keep her title, I guess, as like the #1 woman tennis athlete. But yeah, amazing book if you haven't read it. Next we have one I actually read recently, and it's Not the Witch You Wed by April Asher. And oh my goodness, this book, the entire time I was watching, I was like, this would be so much fun as a movie, and like just have, or even like a TV series, because the plot was so intricate, and the amount of like characters there were, and like the actual world building that happened in this was insane. And I feel like as a little like TV series, because she is coming out with, she has one book out, like a second book out already, and another one is coming out I think next year, and I feel like it would be so cute as a little like series about these 3 sisters and the men that they are getting involved with. But yeah, or even like 3 movies where the first movie focuses on the first sister, second movie, etc., because they are like their own stories. But yeah, it was so much fun. Basically, it's about these 2 characters who, the girl is a witch and the guy is like a shapeshifter, and he's like the alpha, and she is the first daughter of or the first, like the eldest sister of this triad of witches. And basically what that means is that like when her grandmother, who's the prima witch, which is like the lead or strongest witch ever, eventually dies or steps down, the eldest sister is supposed to kind of take over and be like lead all the witches and keep all the power. But Violet, who's the eldest sister, has been magicless her whole life, so it ended up falling to her sister. And so her and Link, who is the shapeshifter, dated in the past, and her heart was broken, and now they keep kind of like crossing paths, and they've both been set with this deadline where they need to find a mate, otherwise they will be forced into a mating, because it's kind of just like the magical law in this world. If they don't, they'll go to like magical prison or something. So they end up deciding to fake date so that they can like kind of buy themselves some time to find an actual mate, so this doesn't like, you know, blow up in their face. And you know, obviously things happen. But it was such a fun book, and the whole time I was like, because it's also very descriptive in how it describes like literally everything, people, the magic, like how magic is shown, how magic is like shot across a room or something like that. Like, so it'd be really cool to see it on a big screen. Sticking with the like contemporary romances, I have 2 Lynn Painter books that I would love to see as movies, and I feel like the obvious one is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is like the ultimate rom-com, like mocking of rom-com movies, and it's adorable, and I feel like having its own little movie would be so cute. The aesthetic is adorable, a little like YA rom-com on Netflix, kind of just like cozy up, you know, on a Friday night with some wine with the girlies and just watch Wes and Liz be adorable. Yeah, that would be super cute. Basically, holy crap, I don't even remember what I don't even remember what this book is about because it was so long ago. Oh yeah, this one is like, it's kind of like, I think The Duff is what it reminded me of, or like, is it that one where he's like trying to help her get with his friend? I don't know, but it does like have little quotes. Is this one that has the little quotes from every movie? Yeah, there's like a quote from like every rom-com movie, and there's so many references in it, and it's just adorable. Like, it's so freaking cute, and Liz is such a cute character. So yeah, it would be so cute to see that as a rom-com. But also The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. I know that we have so many like Groundhog Day rom-com kind of movies, but I feel like this one is just so freaking cute. And right in the beginning, Emily finds out that her boyfriend has been cheating on her, and it's literally just like the worst Valentine's Day of her life. She's like hit her car, she's done so many things that are just terrible, and she can't wait for the day to end. And then she wakes up the next day and the day starts over again, and she has to relive this all over again, catch her boyfriend cheating on her, like have a run-in with her car, like just over and over and over again. And it's actually really funny, but also kind of like tormenting for her. But the way that it happens on Valentine's Day, I'm a sucker for Valentine's Day. I would love another like Valentine's Day movie to watch on every Valentine's Day. And just the development that happens, and the fact that like she kind of makes a lot of decisions, and it's honestly hilarious and just adorable. Like for a YA romance, it's so cute, but it's so funny the decisions she makes and the things that she gets herself into because she truly believes that her day is just gonna keep going over and over and over again. Yeah. Anyway, guys, that is all of the books that I wanted to talk about that I think should be like a TV or movie series. There's probably so many more out there that definitely should be, and I feel like some of these might have already been announced that they will be, maybe. I'm not really sure, but comment down below any that you think should be a film adaptation of some sort, whether it be a TV series, animation, movie, whatever you think. Let me know. I would love to just like talk about it, and maybe the more we talk about it, more we manifest, this will happen. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye.